Milieu number 2, where 2 indicates both the number of sharps as well as the position on the so-called diapason. So it's going to be at 2 o'clock, and that's where you find out the recommended hand positions for both the right and the left hand. Now get yourself one of these via the website. It's going to save you a lot of hassle. So once you wrap your head around the milieu, you can then play along to all these songs. So at 2 o'clock you have a list here of a whole bunch of songs that you can start playing along to. And believe it or not, this is the easiest way to learn a song on the keyboard. Now, as I said, there are 2 sharps. So we have this C sharp, and then the second is D, E, F sharp, C sharp, F sharp. Now the good news about the mirror method is that once you wrap your head around the pattern of this second milieu, you then automatically can find out the 10th milieu, so the mirroring milieu, by simply flipping that pattern to your left hand side. So once again, if you flip this over to this side, it's not going to sound consonant because they're different keys, quite distant also. But again, the pattern is exactly symmetrical, and that's on this side and then over here. So the exact mirror image of each other. Now once again, playing along to all those tunes is all it takes to start playing along to all those tunes is wrapping your head around these tones. So shape wise is quite easy. And you can play B minor, or you can play D major. The exact same tones, just different order. Now different tunes are going to have different tonal centers. For example, there's only 2 in B minor, so B Aeolian, and there's a whole bunch in Ionian, so a whole bunch of songs. Most of them are going to be in major, and there's 2 in Mixolydian. So if you start on A, you can actually play along to Last Christmas by Wham or We Will Rock You by Queen. And there's also a tune by Nancy Sinatra, These Boots Are Made for Walking. There's more being added every single day, but quite a collection there to start playing along. I always say it's a good idea to start building that milieu yourself by simply starting with a clock face. So you have a 12 o'clock, a 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 3 o'clock. And then in between those, you add 2 points to get a total of 12. And then at 12 o'clock, you always have La. So there's that fixed solfege idea. At 3 o'clock, you always have Do. And then from there onwards, you can start on Do if you're used to the the major scale idea already. And you have Do, Re at 5 o'clock, Mi at 7 o'clock, Fa right next to it at 8 o'clock, and So at 11 o'clock. And then T right next to Do. So this idea of fixed solfege represents the tonics of each of the chords at these positions. Now, it might take you a while to wrap your head around those, but trust me, this is the best way to begin thinking about chords. And down here, I'm also going to list the same solfege in the same order, starting with La, Ti, Do, and then notice it's SO and not SOL. There is a reason for that. And the chords, when you lay out the solfege in this manner, are always going to be minor, diminished, major, minor, minor, major, major. I think this is the easiest and most clean design in terms of laying out the chords. So you always know that at 12 o'clock you have a minor chord that is related to this major chord. So La and Do are relative to each other, related. Re and Fa, as well as Mi and So. Now, if you look at the tones, at 2 o'clock you have B, at 12 o'clock, so this will be the equivalent of red, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, and A. Now, it might feel like a tiresome task to do, but I'm telling you, as you're playing along to the songs, things will begin to connect a lot easier if you have this in front of you. You'll then begin to understand what it means to play a D major chord followed, so a D major followed by a B minor. Because there are connections between these chords that are very important. Now again, having this in front of you is useful. Building it with your own hand, it's even more useful. It's going to get you into a sort of routine, and then you'll learn to always associate the positions with the chords, and it'll be a lot easier to then figure out the relationship between these modes and the chords, their tonics, and so on. Hope this helps. Give it a go.